Knotless box braids. Now, y'all know that this is one of the most trending type of box braids, and today I am super excited because for the very first time I'm gonna try out the knotless box braids, and we have a beautiful hairstylist today in the studio, and we are going to learn from her on how step by step how to actually do these box braids that are called knotless box braids. So today I am going to be presenting a video to you that is going to take you step by step on how we are going to do the knotless box braids, and at the end of the video, towards the end of the video, I am going to show you a few ways on how you can style your beautiful knotless box braids. So stick around and come with me so that we can get this hair done. For your beauty, confidence, and style.
Okay, so to start the process, we actually had to remove that raggedy old braids that I had under my wig, and she was actually helping me to remove them. Next thing, we actually went and I had to do a shampoo and condition and blow that hair out so that it can be straightened again. As you can see, it had actually a shrinkage. And then the braiding began. So she actually, if you can see my hair actually looks a little bit gooey, a little bit flat, but that is only because of the gel, and I'm going to explain later exactly how she did it before she actually started braiding. And the braiding continues. We actually moved on to the second side. I actually didn't like the first size that she put in, and I do not like my box braids too big because they're not easy to style. So I decided to actually go with a smaller size, and she actually followed the size that I wanted. So basically, why it's called knotless box braids is because like the normal braids, you have to actually start all the way from the bottom when you start to braid. But then with these ones, you actually start with your natural hair. She actually started with my normal hair, and she just keeps on adding braids until the size that I want is achieved. Then she can continue just braiding it in the three twist way of braiding. Okay, y'all, so just for my fellow beginners, the reason why it's actually called knotless box braids is because they are not ordinary box braids. They do not begin all the way from the bottom. It actually starts with my hair, and then when she braids my hair for maybe like 1 inch away, she starts to add the braid to it, and she keeps on adding the braid in small portions so that it can go from a smaller size to a bigger size until it's actually achieved at the size that I want my braids to be. So that's why it is called the knotless box braid. It also matters with the way she parts the hair. And this is what I told you about the hair looking all gooey. It's because when she just parts the hair, she actually has to add some gel. Now the reason why she's adding some gel is for it to hold very well and to look very neat, so that the hair is not resisting in any way when she starts to braid. So as you can see, she's putting layers of gel on my hair and in the line as well, just to clear it up. Then when she makes that line, she makes sure that she actually combs the gel through the hair just like 1 inch away from my scalp. It's not the whole level of hair that has got that gel, but just, you know, from my scalp to just like 1 inch away. Basically just the part where she starts to braid my hair before she adds the braid. So this is where she starts to actually braid the bottom. Then as you can see, she stops before she starts now adding the braids in smaller portions. And this process continues, like I said before, until the actual size of the braid is achieved. And as you can see, the parting actually is a box, and that's where the name of the braids actually get their name as box braids. You cannot just part the hair in any shape and call them box braids. Of course, some people actually have those triangular braids and they still call them box braids, but come on y'all, let's be serious. We should start calling those triangular box braids, triangular braids, not box braids. Just about to be done, but of course I still have like a few more minutes to actually still sit. I'm still tired. Box braids are not easy, guys. Like, you still have to really spend a lot of time sitting down, and yeah, if you have a small booty like mine, you will not enjoy doing that. There's not much question. So the first level of braiding is done, and we are now at the second level of where we are completing the ends. As you can see, she is actually just taking one braid at a time and just finishing up the ends, because in the beginning, the first level of braiding, we were just starting from the roots of my hair until a certain level, but now we are completing the braid one by one. And of course, I will not waste your time by showing you every braid that we braided. And yes, homegirl can braid too, so she was helping, okay? So that process continues until we're done with every one of the braids. We are moving on onto the cleaning of the braids, and this is where she actually cuts out all the little strands that are resisting and not making it look neat. She's just getting a pair of shears and she's just cutting just a few strands. She's not cutting the braids, so don't get it wrong. She's just cutting around the braid. There are little strands of braid that are resisting, so she's just cutting them to make them look very neat. And this process is actually very important if you want to have your box braids, your knotless box braids, looking good. And there she's just shaking them off to make sure that she has cleaned them very well. So this is the part where she just cleans out at the end. She's not cutting the braids yet again. She is just clearing out the knots that were at the end.
Woo! Okay, y'all, we are done with the braiding session, and we are just going to finalize it by dipping the ends in some hot water. And after that, we are going to add some nice oil to my scalp, you know, to make sure those roots and that scalp is very much oiled and nourished. And then we are going to add some mousse. So this is adding the ends, okay? Just for a short while, it doesn't have to be too long, okay? So this is actually going to make sure that the hair does not untangle. So this is more like locking up the hair. This is how you lock it up. And we finally dry it.
Okay, now for you who are actually wondering why we're using a blow dryer on braids, it's simply because, number one, it's going to help us dry it. Now that blow dryer, take note, is not on its high temperature. It is mostly just on mild temperature. And the other reason why we are blow drying those braids is because when you're done braiding, your braids can be crooked, so we can use the blower to just straighten them up a little bit and make them look neat. So those are the two reasons why we are blow drying the braids. On to the next step, which is also an important step. We added some mousse to just mousse it up. This is just more like, you know, adding some shine and some concrete layover of the braids. So you know how important mousse is. Like, if you watch my videos, then you know how much I fuss over the mousse. So let's mousse up those braids. And now we are adding oil to my scalp. It is very important because I washed it and I conditioned it without oiling it. So for my scalp and my hair to be healthy and not brittle, we just have to add that oil and make sure that the scalp and hair are nourished. And we are done. She did a very good job. I was super impressed. They looked super neat and I just loved the way she just did it. Everything about these braids just looked so good. And yeah.
So I'm going to open this pack over here. Doesn't matter how you open it. It's not like I'm gonna reuse it. Okay, so these are the studs that I chose. I actually love to put silver because, to be honest, this is not real silver, okay? And for the fact that it's just plated or sprayed as silver, it's gonna rub out soon, the more I actually be in water. And at least the silver fake jewelry does not fade like the gold. The gold will just end up looking like a donut. So I prefer the silver, even though I love gold. I do love gold. So what I like to do is to map out where I'm gonna put on my jewelry. So I like to make sure that these front ones, the ones on the temples, should have jewelry, and the ones that are right here, because every time I'm styling and I'm leaving any hairs in front, the ones that I'm leaving out should have jewelry. So these are the main 4 braids that I want to add the studs first. Okay, so I am just going to add on this 4, and then everything else is freestyle. Okay, I actually put 2 different designs. I have a star over here, and I also have the star and moon kind of design, and of course I have the studs. So just the way I told you how I mapped them out is how I have put everything in order. The studs are actually like everywhere, and I did not really pay attention. The only ones that I mapped out are the ones in front, but the ones at the back, I just put them in any other position, so it doesn't really matter. But now I'm going to show you how I style my braids. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. Click that subscription button and also click on that little bell so that you can get all the notifications of all those beautiful videos that I bring to you every week. So for now, all I have to say, au revoir, arrivederci, bye bye. See you next time.